Rising from the ashes. The night sky over New Seattle glowed an unnatural emerald from the Tyraxian watchtowers. 8 years had passed since the aliens arrived with their massive crystalline ships, bringing Earth to its knees in less than a month. The once proud city stood in partial ruins, with alien structures rising between broken human buildings like bizarre coral formations. Commander Elena Rice watched the alien patrol from her hiding spot in a collapsed apartment complex. At 36, her face showed the lines of nearly a decade of fighting and hiding. Her jet-black hair was streaked with premature silver, but her eyes remained sharp and determined. She gripped her modified rifle, a hybrid of human and stolen Tyraxian tech, as the patrol passed below. All clear, she whispered into her communicator. Move to extraction point. Across the street, 3 shadows darted between rusted vehicles. Her extraction team was small but effective. Most were too young to remember life before the invasion. But Elena remembered. She remembered blue skies without Tyraxian ships, cities without alien watchtowers, and a world where humans control their own destiny. The team had accomplished their mission, retrieving Dr. Marcus Chen, a former aerospace engineer who had been working as a forced laborer in the Tyraxian research facility. Getting him out alive had cost them 2 good people, but according to their intelligence, he was worth it. Back at their underground base, a repurposed subway maintenance facility, Lieutenant Kai Okafor reviewed the perimeter feeds. His technical brilliance and steady nerves had saved their cell countless times. "The doctor is secure," Elena announced as they entered. "What did we lose getting him out?" "Jackson didn't make it," Kai said quietly. "And we lost most of our eastern sensor network. The Tyraxians are getting better at detecting our tech." Elena nodded grimly. Jackson had been with them since the beginning. Another name for the memorial wall. She approached the man they had rescued, who sat trembling on a makeshift cot, a thermal blanket wrapped around his shoulders. "Dr. Chen," she said, "I'm Commander Rice. You're safe now." The man looked up, his eyes hollow from years of captivity. "No one is safe," he whispered. "Not anymore. But you need to see what I found." From his pocket, he pulled a small data crystal. "Tyraxian technology. I was forced to translate their historical archives. Most was propaganda, but I found something they tried to hide. Something about Earth." Kai connected the crystal to their modified computer system. The screen flickered, then displayed intricate alien symbols that slowly translated to English. Elena's eyes widened as she read. "This can't be right," she breathed. The documents revealed a shocking truth. Earth had not been randomly discovered by the Tyraxians. They had come specifically for something buried beneath Earth's surface, ancient technology from a civilization that had visited Earth thousands of years ago. A civilization the Tyraxians feared. "The legends they have about Earth call it the Forbidden World," Dr. Chen explained. "They believe an advanced species they call the predecessors left weapons here, weapons capable of challenging the entire Tyraxian Empire." Elena exchanged glances with Kai. "If this is true, there's more," Chen continued. "I cross-referenced their star charts with our old NASA data. I think I know where this technology might be hidden." Within hours, Elena had assembled a small expedition team. The coordinates led them to a seemingly unremarkable location in what used to be the Olympic National Forest in Washington state. The area showed no signs of Tyraxian presence. No patrols, no sensors, nothing. "They don't know about this place," Kai said as they approached a sheer rock face. "Their historical records must be incomplete." Dr. Chen examined the rock carefully. The documents mentioned a door that answers to the children of Earth. Elena placed her hand against the cold stone, feeling foolish. Nothing happened. Each member of the team tried, with the same result. Frustration mounted until Maya, their youngest fighter at barely 19, approached the wall. As her fingers touched the surface, blue lines of light spread from the contact point, forming intricate patterns across the rock face. The team stepped back as a section of stone slid silently aside, revealing a dark passage. "How did you do that?" Elena asked, stunned. Maya looked at her hand in wonder. I don't know." They cautiously entered the passage, their flashlights revealing smooth walls inscribed with symbols unlike any human or Taraxian writing. The passage opened into an enormous cavern, and as they entered, lights activated automatically, revealing the impossible. Before them stood 7 sleek spacecraft, clearly built with technology far beyond Earth's capabilities when the invasion happened. They were streamlined, almost predatory in design, with no visible engines or weapons. Yet somehow, Elena knew they were armed and dangerous. "The predecessors," Dr. Chen whispered in awe. "They left us a fleet." A holographic projection appeared in the center of the chamber. A humanoid figure composed of blue light. Genetic recognition complete. "Welcome, descendants. Emergency protocol activated due to detected extraterrestrial invasion. Combat systems online." "Who are you?" Elena asked. "I am HFY, Advanced Responsive Intelligence Array. I was left here to guard these vessels until humanity reached the appropriate technological level or faced extinction-level threats. Based on my scans, the latter condition has been met." Elena approached one of the ships, her reflection distorted in its glossy black surface. "Can these defeat the Taraxians?" The Phantom-class interceptors were designed to counter technologies significantly more advanced than those I detect from your invaders, Araya replied. "However, they require compatible pilots." "Compatible how?" Kai asked. "Neural compatibility. The ships form a symbiotic link with their pilots. Not all humans will be compatible." Elena looked at Maya, whose touch had opened the door. "I think we need to start testing for compatibility." Over the following weeks, the Resistance brought trusted fighters to the cavern. Out of hundreds tested, only 17 showed strong compatibility with the ships. Maya displayed the strongest connection, followed by Elena herself. Training began immediately, with ARIA instructing them on the neural interface. The first time Elena linked with her ship, the sensation overwhelmed her. The vessel wasn't merely a machine. It felt like an extension of her body, responding to her thoughts faster than she could form them. The ship's systems poured information directly into her mind. Weapons capabilities, defensive measures, and propulsion systems that defied conventional physics. The ships absorb energy directed at them, Maya explained after her first neural link session. That's how they defend themselves, and they can redirect that energy as weapons. Then Taraxian energy weapons would actually make us stronger, Kai realized. Their first mission targeted a small Taraxian outpost near what used to be Vancouver. 3 ships, piloted by Elena, Maya, and a former Air Force pilot named Javier, approached under cover of night. The Taraxian sensors never detected them. The ship's stealth systems were beyond anything humanity had ever developed. The attack lasted less than 2 minutes. The Phantom ships absorbed the Taraxian defensive fire, growing stronger with each hit. They released the energy in precise bursts, systematically destroying the outpost's defenses and communications array without harming the human laborers kept there. As the 3 ships returned to base, word of the attack spread through resistance channels worldwide. For the first time in 8 years, humanity had struck back effectively against their oppressors. The Taraxian response was swift and brutal. They increased patrols, implemented new security measures, and publicly executed humans suspected of resistance ties. But they also revealed something crucial: fear. For the first time, the invaders showed signs of genuine concern. With each mission, the human pilots grew more proficient with their ships. They struck Taraxian installations across North America, freeing human laborers and capturing alien technology. The resistance ranks swelled with new recruits, and other cells around the world began coordinating their efforts with Elena's group. 6 months after discovering the Phantom fleet, Elena called her core team together. The holographic display in their war room showed the position of a massive Taraxian vessel that had recently entered Earth orbit. "This is the Dominion," she explained. "According to the data we've gathered, It's their command ship. The Taraxian High Commander directs all Earth operations from there. It's heavily defended, Kai warned. Even with our ships, a direct assault would be suicide. We're not planning a direct assault, Elena replied. We've discovered something about Taraxian biology that gives us an advantage. The neural samples we collected from their outposts show an unusual vulnerability. Dr. Chen, now fully recovered from his captivity and serving as their chief science officer, explained, Taraxians are extremely sensitive to certain frequencies of electromagnetic radiation. At specific wavelengths, their neural systems experience temporary shutdown, essentially, a mass blackout. Our ships can generate those frequencies, Maya added, but we'd need to get close to their command vessel. Elena nodded. That's exactly what we're going to do. We're taking the fight to them. The plan was audacious. While the 17 Phantom ships launched a coordinated attack on Taraxian installations worldwide, drawing attention and forces away from orbit, Elena would lead a small team to infiltrate the Dominion. As preparations intensified, Elena spent a quiet moment at the memorial wall, her fingers tracing Jackson's name among too many others. We're going to win this, she promised the fallen. One way or another, Earth becomes free again. The Empire falls. Dawn broke over the hidden base as pilots prepared for humanity's most ambitious counterstrike. The 17 Phantom-class ships gleamed under the cavern lights, their surfaces rippling with subtle energy patterns as they bonded with their pilots. In the command center, Elena addressed the gathered resistance fighters. Today, we strike at the heart of the Taraxian occupation, she said, her voice firm. For 8 years, they've treated our world as their possession and our people as their property. Today, that ends. The holographic display showed their targets. Taraxian installations across the globe, all to be hit simultaneously. The coordination had taken months of covert communication with resistance cells worldwide. Remember your training, Elena continued. The Phantoms will protect you if you trust them. Feel the neural link, move as one with your ship, and nothing in the Taraxian arsenal can stop you. Maya approached Elena after the briefing. At 20, she had become their most skilled pilot, her connection with her Phantom deeper than anyone else's. The infiltration team is ready, she reported. Kai finished modifying the shuttle's signature to match Taraxian frequencies. Elena nodded. Good. We'll launch once the main attack draws their orbital defenses away. Across the world, resistance fighters moved into position. Some would provide ground support, others would rescue human laborers from the facilities once the Phantoms neutralized the Taraxian guards. It was a complex operation involving thousands of people, humanity's first globally coordinated attack since the invasion. At precisely 700 hours, the Phantom fleet launched. They streaked across the sky like obsidian lightning, their advanced propulsion systems leaving no contrails. Taraxian early warning systems remained silent. The ships were simply invisible to their technology until they chose to be seen. In orbit, aboard the massive Taraxian command vessel Dominion, High Commander Varric received the first distress signals from the surface with disbelief. Impossible, he hissed, his translucent skin flushing deep crimson with anger. How could the primitives coordinate such an attack? His second-in-command, Sub-Commander Malus, studied the incoming data. The vessels match no known human technology. They're absorbing our energy weapons and becoming stronger. Varric's compound eyes narrowed. Deploy the orbital defense network. Send reinforcements to all major installations. These humans have hidden technology from us. I want it captured intact. As the Taraxian command structure scrambled to respond to the simultaneous attacks, a small nondescript shuttle rose from the Olympic Forest base. Modified with salvaged Taraxian components, it broadcast identification codes stolen from their supply ships. Aboard were Elena, Kai, Dr. Chen, and 4 of their best fighters. Approaching orbital defense grid, Kai announced from the pilot's seat. Identification codes transmitting. Elena watched the massive Taraxian vessels reposition, moving away from the Dominion toward Earth. Their plan was working. The fleet was distracted. Defense grid accepting our codes, Kai continued. We're clear to approach the Dominion. The shuttle docked at a secondary maintenance bay on the massive command ship. Thanks to Dr. Chen's knowledge of Tyrexian protocols, they bypassed the automated security systems and entered the vessel unchallenged. We have 20 minutes before they cycle the security protocols, Dr. Chen warned as they moved through the alien corridors. After that, our codes won't work. Elena led them toward the ship's central control nexus, following the schematics they had pieced together from captured data. Along the way, they encountered minimal resistance. Most of the security forces had been deployed to counter the attacks on the surface. Meanwhile, across Earth, the Phantom ships devastated Tyrexian installations. Their ability to absorb and redirect energy made them nearly invulnerable to Tyrexian weapons. One by one, alien strongholds fell as human resistance fighters swarmed in behind the Phantoms, freeing slaves and capturing valuable technology. Maya led a squadron of 5 ships against the primary Tyrexian processing facility in what used to be Beijing. Her Phantom danced through enemy fire, each blast making her ship's systems glow brighter as they absorbed the energy. All ships, focus fire on their central power node, she commanded. 3-5, provide cover for ground teams. The coordinated attack overwhelmed the facility's defenses. As Maya's ship soared over the collapsing Tyrexian structures, she opened a channel to all resistance frequencies worldwide. Beijing facility secured. All human captives freed. Similar reports came in from across the globe. Sydney, Nairobi, London, Moscow, Rio de Janeiro. One by one, Tyrexian strongholds fell to the combined might of the Phantom fleet and ground resistance forces. Aboard the Dominion, Elena's team fought their way through increasingly heavy resistance as they approached the central nexus. Tyrexian guards fell to their modified weapons, conventional firearms enhanced with technology reverse-engineered from the Phantoms. We're approaching the command center, Kai reported, checking their position against the schematics. Heavy security presence ahead. Elena activated her neural amplifier, a simplified version of the technology that linked pilots to their Phantom ships. It wouldn't let her control the Dominion, but it gave her enhanced reflexes and sensory perception. Dr. Chen, prepare the pulse generator. Everyone else, cover formation. They rounded the corner into a large antechamber guarded by a dozen heavily armed Tyrexians. Elena moved with impossible speed, her enhanced reactions allowing her to dodge energy blasts while returning precise fire. Her team followed her lead, and within moments, the guards lay neutralized. The massive doors to the command center remained sealed. Kai approached the control panel, connecting their bypass device. This will take a minute, he said, fingers flying over the interface. A harsh alarm suddenly blared throughout the ship. On a nearby monitor, they saw Phantom ships engaging Tyrexian vessels in orbit. They've realized we're here, one of the fighters said. Doesn't matter, Elena replied. We only need a few more minutes. The doors slid open to reveal the Tyrexian command center, a vast chamber with a panoramic view of Earth below. High Commander Varric stood at the center, surrounded by his senior officers. Humans, he hissed, mandibles clicking in agitation. You've overestimated yourselves. Elena stepped forward, neural amplifier heightening her senses. We're not here to negotiate, Varric. We're here to end this. Your primitive species cannot comprehend the importance of this world, Varric replied. The technology you've discovered was never yours. It belongs to those who came before, those who seeded countless worlds. The predecessors, Dr. Chen said. A simplistic name for a complex truth. Varric sneered. Earth was merely a vault for their weapons, weapons too dangerous to be allowed to exist. We came to claim them before you could destroy yourselves and others with power you cannot comprehend. Elena's expression remained unchanged. And yet you enslaved us, killed millions. If you came as guardians, you became conquerors. A necessary evil, Varric insisted. Your species was approaching the technological threshold that would have led you to discover the vault. We could not allow that. As Varric spoke, Kai quietly activated the pulse generator. Dr. Chen monitored its charging sequence on a small device. "You failed, Varric," Alina said. "The Phantoms have already bonded with human pilots. They chose us." Varric's compound eyes widened. "Impossible. The Guardian vessels require genetic markers that—" He stopped, sudden understanding dawning. "The predecessors. They were human. Or we are their descendants," Alina replied. "Either way, the technology was meant for us, not you." Dr. Chen nodded to Alina. The pulse generator was ready. "This ends now," Alina said, raising her hand. "All Phantom ships, execute Protocol Sunburst." Across Earth's orbit and atmosphere, the 17 Phantom vessels simultaneously emitted a precisely calibrated electromagnetic pulse. The frequency, harmless to humans and human technology, targeted the specific neural patterns of Taraxian biology. In the command center, Varric and his officers collapsed instantly, their nervous systems temporarily shut down. Throughout the massive ship and across all Taraxian vessels and installations on Earth, the invaders fell unconscious. "We have 30 minutes before they recover," Dr. Chen announced. "Enough time to implement the final phase." Kai moved to the command console, interfacing their technology with the Taraxian systems. "Accessing their network. I'm in. Transmitting the ultimatum to all Taraxian vessels." Alina watched as the message was broadcast across the Taraxian fleet. It was simple: leave Earth immediately and permanently, or face destruction from weapons their species had feared for millennia. To demonstrate their power, Maya led 3 Phantom ships in a precise strike against an uninhabited Taraxian monitoring station on the Moon. The vessels unleashed their accumulated energy in a single devastating blast that reduced the facility to atoms. When Varric regained consciousness, Alina stood over him, her modified rifle aimed at his head. "Your choices are simple," she said. "Order your forces to leave our system, or we will deploy the Phantoms against every Taraxian vessel, starting with the Dominion." The High Commander's mandibles twitched in suppressed rage. "You do not understand the consequences. If word spreads that the Guardian vessels have awakened and chosen pilots, it will destabilize the entire galaxy." "That's not our problem," Alina replied coldly. "Your empire invaded our world and slaughtered our people. Now you'll leave, or you'll die. Choose." Faced with technology his species had feared for generations, Varric capitulated. The evacuation order went out to all Taraxian forces. Within hours, alien ships began rising from Earth's surface, returning to their orbital vessels. From the command center of the Dominion, Alina watched the Taraxian fleet assemble, preparing to leave Earth's orbit. Dr. Chen studied the ship's database, downloading everything he could about galactic civilization. "There are hundreds of spacefaring species," he reported with wonder. "The Taraxians aren't even the most powerful. They're just the most aggressive in this sector." "Will others come for the Phantoms?" Alina asked. "Possibly," Chen admitted. "But according to their records, most advanced civilizations avoid Earth precisely because of the legends of the predecessors. We may have bought ourselves decades of peace, maybe centuries." Kai joined them, his expression serious. "We should discuss what happens after they leave. The world governments were mostly destroyed during the invasion. There will be chaos, power struggles." Alina nodded. "We'll help rebuild, establish communication between surviving communities, and we'll keep the Phantoms ready in case the Taraxians or anyone else gets ideas about returning." As the last Taraxian ships disappeared into hyperspace, leaving Earth's orbit empty for the first time in 8 years, Maya's voice came through on the communication system. "Commander, you need to see this." On the holographic display, data streamed from the Phantom's advanced sensors. They had detected something. Active signals coming from Mars, Venus, and several locations in the asteroid belt. "More vaults," Dr. Chen whispered. "More predecessor technology." Alina looked out at the stars, seeing them not as distant lights but as potential destinations. The Terraxians were right about one thing. We weren't ready for this technology before. But suffering has a way of forcing growth. She turned to her team, determination in her eyes. Humanity just survived its first contact with a hostile alien empire. We've reclaimed our world and discovered technology beyond our wildest dreams. What we do next will define our species for generations to come. As news of the Terraxian departure spread across Earth, people emerged from hiding, from resistance bases, from labor camps. They looked up at skies free of alien ships, at a future suddenly wide open with possibilities. Humanity had not merely survived, they had risen from the ashes of invasion stronger than before. And now, with the stars within reach, they would ensure that no empire, no matter how vast, would ever threaten their world again. The fleet that had freed Earth would become the foundation of humanity's defense, and perhaps someday, their exploration of the galaxy that had for too long seen them as primitive, as prey, as beneath notice. That galaxy was about to learn a valuable lesson. Never underestimate humans.